All right, Kim Kardashian. She just wants Santa baby. It's weird. She dropped a creepy music video, and we have got to talk about it. Make sure you like for the algorithm. Let's get into our prof tip. It is if we want a better culture, we must have better celebrity influence. Ultimately, all of our role models push us towards being slaves to sin or slaves to righteousness. What do you think about that quote, Miss Kenya McIntosh?
Yeah, I agree. But I think it's representative of, we live in a sinful world, so of course our celebrities and the people that are popular are going to represent those things and those attributes. So
Yes, but that doesn't mean we have to, lift them up. And so that's what we're going to be talking about today as we get into this whole Kim Kardashian, there we go. All right.
but I think that's why they're lifted up,
Why?
because we live in a sinful world and people are sinful. So they think the things that the celebrities do are exciting and fun. So they lift them up. I think it's like the people are the chicken and wait, what comes first, the chicken or the egg?
You tell me.
The chicken came first. So the people are the chicken and then the celebrity is the egg.
Ah, okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah. Well, that's an interesting thesis there. But yeah, we're gonna get into this whole Kim Kardashian thing. So this is Kim's Santa baby video. We're not playing the audio for copyright purposes, and we're only showing like the first couple seconds on loop. But we really gotta ask yourself, as you're watching that, the creepiness, and it's set in like a VHS style video, which is kind of cool. It's like vintage, it's nostalgic. But the things that go on in the actual video
It's very
are
odd.
creepy. And then she's singing Santa Baby, and it's like very breathy, and so it just adds to this whole creepiness. And the internet actually was not really having it. Even people who were fans of Kim, they were like, yeah, we like you, but I feel like this is disturbing, right? And that's kind of the debate online. Some people are like, oh, it's artsy. But then again, that goes back to what are we lifting up? Like it's okay to be artsy and to do things that are, outside the norm, that are a little different. But ultimately, what's the core message behind it? Which is, that's the next point. It's like everything that you do, it should have a purpose. And ultimately, hopefully, it is unto the glory of God. But we know everybody's not Christian. So at the very, minimum, at least you're promoting, a good ethic, a positive ethic that helps people to flourish. And this video just seems just very weird, very disturbing.
Yeah, like I could only get through once I got to the halfway mark, something about it was just really dark, and I was like, I can't keep watching this. I just could not keep watching it.
Yeah, it's so interesting. Yeah, so it's like it's really a result of like the cultural perversion, right? Because when you think of Christmas and you think of the holidays, it's like a festive time, it's happy. And even if you've been down bad throughout the whole year, this is supposed to be a time when, things could start to turn around, right? Because you're gonna get together with, people that you love, and, you have the beginning of the new year literally a week away. And so it's almost representative of, I'm closing this chapter. Okay, maybe I had a great year, maybe I had a bad year, but at least I'll be appreciative and I'm able to exchange gifts. And then I can start fresh, start anew, just a week later. So, but the cultural perversion is like, no, this is a dark time for people. It's like, no, that's not what we want to be promoting, even if that is the case for some people.
Yeah, and even with the whole Santa Baby song, like that's supposed to be like a fun, just like fun song, but then she kind of turned it into something creepy and almost kind of scary. So just perverted that song, even though it's supposed to be like a fun, like sexy kind of song.
Yeah. And I mean, just keeping on, back to our, prof tip when we're talking about, you know, our role models, who you look up to, who's influencing you, they're always going to be pushing you towards being a slave towards righteousness, which is the way of God, or pushing you towards being a slave towards sin, which is, wrapped in this cultural perversion that we're seeing displayed on our screens right now. And so that just brings us to this here. It's like Kim Kardashian, she quite literally is a clout slave. And I don't mean like she's like a terrible person, but what it essentially means is that she cares more about attention than the quality of her, of her soul.
Like staying relevant.
Staying relevant, like that's the only thing that matters. And we're about to go through an article where they quote, a part of her book. It's called like the Kim Kardashian principle, when she literally says, yeah, like if you're not being hated, you're not in the game, essentially.
I didn't know she had a book.
Yeah, I guess she has a book. I didn't know she had a book either. But again, we've seen this throughout her whole career, right? So she started out as a clout chaser, and now she is a slave to that attention, because the reality is she is, she's a billionaire. She has a really good company, a really good makeup company.
She has multiple companies.
Yeah, multiple companies, and done multiple things. She's actually very successful and very adept in business. And she's putting this out when she's doing her,
yeah, when she doesn't
stuff.
have to.
Yeah, it's like there's no need to.
Other than fame.
Right. And it's really bringing up the point that, wealth doesn't equal a good life. And so we look up to these people who are wealthy, and we're like, I want to be them. But you hear it all the time. It's like money won't make you happy. Like all the wealth that you attain isn't necessarily leading to a good life. That's why even when people seemingly, have the whole world access to anything that they want, they could be, essentially very miserable if they aren't prioritizing their soul over that fame or over that money as well. And so we shouldn't look at her as a role model, right? I would say so. Like,
I would also say
we should be looking, and again, this is a repeated theme that we talk about here in Quality, is what is the quality, no pun intended, of the people and the content that you are consuming, right? Because that has a direct influence on you. And, wealth doesn't equal a good life. Seeking attention isn't good for your soul. But peace is ultimately going to equal a good life. And where does peace come from?
The Lord, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, ultimately. It's, the process of chasing after God is going to ultimately bring you peace, right? Because you'll always be content and grateful for where you are, but you also know that God's not finished with you yet as well, and that you are repeatedly being refined and molded into, a perfect being, right? And so whether you go on to obtain great wealth and amass, a multitude of fame, we always got to keep that at the forefront, that, we want to live peaceful, and that peace is coming when God is at the top of your hierarchy of values, not when you're, clout chasing and everything. But yeah, let's get into, ultimately, if you are going to be a slave to righteousness. So that's kind of the theme of this whole entire video. And so we are going to dive into this Forbes Mayday said he couldn't really get past 10 seconds. That's hilarious. He says, not gonna lie. Yeah, first let's dive into the comments of...
Yes, those comments. Ooh, they were lighting her up.
Yeah, let's get into the comments of this YouTube video because it's kind of wild. Yeah, so here these are. This is basically from the top comments on down. And the first guy says, and y'all call Kanye crazy. This is a drunk fever dream. Next comment was like, I was just saying to myself, haven't seen nothing demonic from Kim lately. That's pretty funny. Like, oh yeah, she hasn't put out anything demonic lately.
And then boom.
Bam. And then this guy, Jeremy Tucker, says leaving comments enabled was very brave. Yeah, because she kind of gets roasted here.
And I think like another big thing was like there was a lot of like Christian elements in the video.
Mm-hmm.
That
Yeah, there's
was
like a
just
nativity
like,
scene where it's like Mary was, holding the donkey.
yep.
And then there was another picture of, I think, the nativity scene. And
There was a man dressed up like Jesus. They had a choir in
Yeah.
there. I don't. At the end, someone said like there's like a priest or something at the end or something. But there's just like all these little things, and it's like,
Right. And she's like seductively. She's almost like seductively dancing for Satan because like the song is like Santa Baby, and then at the end, you didn't
I didn't
make
watch
it
the
to-
end.
Yeah, you didn't
No.
make it to the end. Santa's holding the camera, and like she's like coming to. Yeah, so basically like she's doing it for Santa. Essentially,
interesting.
which is a perversion of Santa as well, because Santa was actually a saint, and that's how it
Yeah.
originally started. It was like Saint Nicholas, but now it's like Santa Claus, and a lot of people equate it to Satan, like because it's like one letter off, or you just move the N to
Yeah.
the end of Santa, and you have Satan, and people make that correlation more so than they do the actual root of how Christmas started, which was Saint Nicholas, a saint to Christ, being charitable and giving.
That's a good point.
Yeah. So let's get into some more comments. It says, "Tell me." Let me get my. No, I can't draw on this because it's the web. Tell me you're on the Diddy list without telling me. You're on
Yeah,
the
that
Diddy
one
list.
got me. I was like,
Yeah,
ooh.
that one's crazy. That one is crazy. Wow, very classy. Something her kids can watch every year at Christmas time, which is another
man,
element to
yeah.
all this. Like, she's a mother. I think she has 4 kids.
4, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like,
You want them?
yeah, when you got home from work and you said like, "Hey, mommy shot a video," and your kids were like, "Hey, I want to see mommy on the screen." Like, are you showing your kids that video?
Yeah. Are you like, yeah, kids, this is my video?
Yeah, that's some wild
I don't know.
work.
I feel like she's doing so many better things
Yeah, like,
than to do like a
I mean,
video
that
like this.
guy up here said it, pretty well.
Like, haven't seen any demonic things from Kim lately.
Yeah,
that
it's
one.
like, yeah, right on. Yeah, she's been kind of just minding her own business,
Yeah.
probably just taking care of her kids and attending to all of her business ventures. And then she just puts this out, and it's like,
I really think it's because of the clout thing. Like, she felt like, oh, she probably isn't relevant anymore, or
Yeah.
she hasn't been in the news like that lately. So boom.
I'm drifting off into obscurity, which, I mean, yeah, it goes back to, how she even became relevant in the first place, was just chasing clout. It was like, yeah, we're going to make this sex tape with Ray J, and it's going to blow up. And it's like, yeah, it did, but at what expense?
At what cost?
Yeah, and now it's like your whole life is, it's basically like a drug. It's like that was the first hit of the drug, and she got what she wanted, and now she just has to keep going back and keep getting more perverse because you're literally chasing that high, right? And she's getting older, and so she has to continuously, keep up her looks and
Chase
the different
youth.
surgeries and Botox and all that, which I'm not against or anything, but it just goes to the vanity of it all. It's like what really matters at the end of the day. Let's dive into this Forbes article before we get on out of here. I thought it was super interesting. It says Kim Kardashian's Santa baby, bold lesson in creative leadership, which is super interesting. And then you got that grotesque picture there. It starts off in a world dominated by safe, sanitized branding. Kim Kardashian's disruptive Christmas music video, accompanying her cover of the 1953 Eartha Kitt holiday classic Santa Baby, is a masterclass in embracing bold creativity and the unconventional. And so it's like, that's an interesting way to look at it.
Interesting
It's like,
twist.
I agree that it is, attention grabbing is going to make people, talk about it. But like,
But it's as if they're like praising it.
yeah, and they are, and they are praising it from, not only a business perspective, but it seems like it's like, oh, like this could be good for society's outlook on how we view things. And it's like,
is it?
Maybe we had it right. I think we had it right the
Yeah.
first time. Like we don't have to keep pushing the envelope in areas that are staples, especially like it's a staple in the world, like Christmas time. Like it's obviously huge in America and in Europe, but it's just a staple around the world as well. And so I don't think causing a ruckus to, and you saw like even people who were fans of her like, this is weird, I'm creeped out, like I like him but this ain't it. And so going down to kind of their first point here, if you look, I would bring it to the top. It says, I have often spoken, and they're basically talking about what Kim has often spoken about. It says, I have often spoken about the undeniable power of hate in today's social media driven world. In fact, I dedicated an entire section to this in my book, The Kim Kardashian Principle. If you're not being hated, you're not in the game. Hate, while challenging, is often a marker of cultural relevance and deep engagement, two vital indicators for any brand leader aiming to make an impact. Well, she won because we're talking about it.
Yeah, she did.
But, I mean, it is important to talk about. And we're not necessarily hating on Kim herself. We're kind of hating on the content that she put out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, I mean, I don't.
Because like
I
she
don't have a
does,
problem with her.
I think she's a really great like business person,
Mm-hmm.
and from what I've seen, she's a really like great mom, very like in tune with her kids and everything. But then she just does off wall stuff
Mm-hmm.
like this, and it's just like you don't have to, like you really don't
Yeah.
have to.
Like, yeah, how do you describe that to your kids? And what is the underlying message that you want your kids to take away from watching that? You know, it's, I mean, maybe there is a good reason. Maybe there is a
Maybe there is a
deep,
story.
artsy reason. And I watched it several times trying to figure it out. And I mean, one of the things that I, kind of played in my mind was, oh, it's like, oh, this is like the reality that we live in. It's like it's Christmas time, but we have, all of this debauchery going
Vices
on.
and stuff.
And people are falling into their vices,
Yeah.
which is very true. But again,
Why highlight it though?
yeah, we shouldn't be highlighting it unless we're calling it out to say, hey, like let's turn away from that,
yeah.
and let's promote the festive part.
The righteousness.
The Christmas time is here. It's time for, good cheers and family, friends, and all of that. The good.
Moral of the story. Mm-hmm.
So the second thing is unpredictability is a superpower, and so they basically talk about. So it says this is in itself a disruptive concept, especially considering how many marketers rush to categorize their product and confine them to predefined boxes before they even hit the market. This approach overlooks a crucial insight. Audiences often want the freedom to define what a product means to them, shaping its relevance in ways the traditional marketing framework cannot predict. In a world of right and wrong, black and white, Kim Kardashian's Santa Baby video lives in a shade of gray, knowing that predictability equals irrelevance and unpredictability captures attention, which is true. But again, we'll just, go back to like it's living in the gray, but it's teetering in the black. Like if you're going to live in the gray and, have things be up for interpretation and try to spark a conversation, well, you want it to spark a conversation that leads to, progress, that leads to growth, that advances our society forward. I'm not sure this is a conversation starter that's going to progress our society forward at all. And so, yeah, I mean, this article continues to go on. The third one was unhinged creativity builds, cultural relevance, which is a similar. I think you're, huh? Oh, you're. I think it died because it wasn't charged yesterday. But yeah, boldness means braving the backlash. Being unhinged requires nerve, especially during the holiday season. Kim Kardashian's bizarre video now among the most talked about content in her career, which I'm not sure if that's true because it only has, I mean, I'm sure it blew up on Instagram because I know she posted it there first, but on YouTube, it only had like just under 1 million views, which is an obscene amount of views. But I'm not sure if it's like one of the most talked about content. She's had several viral moments in her, in her career in reality television and some of the stunts she's pulled. But also this fifth kind of point here is one of the most interesting that we'll close with, and it's unpolished is the new authentic, which I would agree, right? And that's why we're talking about with the whole Daily Wire, Brett Cooper, Reagan Conrad situation. It's like you don't feel the authenticity, and so people are craving a certain level of authenticity, and so they say there is no doubt in my mind that Kim Kardashian's chaotic visuals and raw lo-fi aesthetic resonate with an audience craving authenticity over perfection. I'm not sure if that is the people that are enjoying this content. I kind of feel like it's creeps. You know what I mean? I don't think it's people who are like, oh, this is so authentic. I mean, I can recognize maybe it is authentic, but at the same time saying, hey, this is disturbing and creepy and I don't want to look at it anymore. So, yeah, it's kind of the power of chaos. That's all we really had for you today. We hope that you have a Merry Christmas. Thank you for tuning in to the Quality Network. Let's see if we got any comments before we leave. Mayday said RIP. Hey, shout out to Trent. He said, man, another stream. You guys are pounding out content. Yeah, I'm home alone. That was just a Christmas reference. I'm not home alone. But I am alone right now because Kenya's battery died. Yeah, didn't put it back in the case last night. So we are just riding solo with just me.
Don't forget the store.
I'm sorry?
The store.
Oh yeah. Before we get on out of here, we want to talk about our Quality Entertainment store. You can find it right on our YouTube channel. So if you go to our channel, I'll pull it up for you here in just a second. You'll see the wonderful designs that Miss Kenya Mack has dedicated her time in designing. Let me get it. Yeah, there we go. Let's go here. So yeah, if you go here, you see we are live right now. That is what you are watching, that little inception there. And then if you click on Quality Entertainment Store, you'll see all of these designs. And yeah, she's got more designs on the way. Isn't that correct? Yeah, she's shaking her head yes. So yeah, thank you guys. Also tune into our Substack as well. If you want deeper dives into what we cover on a day-to-day basis, you can just go to our Substack. It's called The Art of Practical Religion. And as you can see, we have all sorts of posts from me, Kenya. We have posts from the Conscious Outlet as well. So get fresh perspective. And we're going to be ramping that up just as we've been, more consistent with our content. We're going to be more consistent on there as well and giving y'all bonus content. Also, we have a membership. So you can hit that join button right below the video, and all of the clips, when we get them edited and uploaded, generally they get scheduled out at least, a day or two, from that point that we uploaded. But if you're a member, you get it right then when we upload it. So if, we go back and we cut up a video, we have a long stream and we upload 5 videos, and you got 5 quality entertainment videos that you can watch if you're a member. I think it starts at like $4 or $5 a month, and that'll just help us in our quest to, spread practical religion and hopefully make this like a more of a full-time thing where we can dedicate more time and build out sets. We are trying to build out a set in one of our rooms coming soon, so be looking forward to that. We'll get out of my office. So, yeah. Thank you guys for tuning in once again. That's one way to avoid an argument. Shout out to Mayday. Yeah, you just silence her mic. Yeah, that's funny. But yeah, hope y'all have a Merry Christmas. Thank you for tuning in. And we will see you probably, in a live fashion, probably sometime this weekend. If not, then we'll definitely see you next Monday, because that is our dedicated streaming day now. Is every Monday, for sure, we're having a profitable conversation with us, the prophets. Hope y'all have a great evening. Hope y'all have a Merry Christmas. And until next time, remember to stay blessed.
Qu'est-ce que je vais te nommer? Je vais te nommer l'amour.